Gotham Knights looks like a DLC mission pack stapled together with a few cutscenes here and there. I mean, this is the perfect example of when game development is run by businessmen in a boardroom cupping their own farts. Hit that like button right now because I am here once again to expose the generic conveyor belt of bland, uninspiring, repetitive cycle of the so-called AAA games. I mean, what are we doing here? It's almost impressive how they made a game that looks and plays worse than Arkham Knights so many years later. I mean, I for one totally didn't see this one coming. Not in a million years. Definitely not. Gotham Knights was in development for 8 years and it only took it 30 minutes to put me to sleep. Thank you for that, by the way. I've been dealing with some bad insomnia, but Gotham Knights did something incredible. I am literally speechless. You could say it subverted my expectations, and that is, there is no jump button. You heard me right. An open world game built on traversal doesn't have a jump button. Even Zelda realized you need a jump button in an open world. I actually died laughing when this happened to me. I thought it was a glitch or something. I said there's no way. Holy shit. I am constantly amazed at how modern gaming has gotten. You could say it's modern gaming at its finest, and the best part is, I'm not even surprised. You could see this disaster coming from a mile away. Kudos to Warner Brothers for the best Ubisoft impersonation. Yeah, that's right. Gotham Knights is so boring, it almost made me buy Marvel's Avengers. And that's saying a lot. First off, those character menus look like they were ripped straight from a mobile game. It's shocking how cheap it looks, but forget about that. Let's get to the main gripe. Gotham Knights should have dropped the whole RPG and co-op element and instead follow the Arkham formula. Why would you try and fix something that isn't broken? The bottom line is that superheroes and RPGs don't necessarily mix, because unless it's done well, the shoddy carcass of a product we end up getting removes any modicum of fun whatsoever, while being a terrible RPG that tries to do too much and ends up doing nothing well. The combat and the story should have been the main priority. You don't have to make an Arkham clone necessarily, but some elements like the combat would have benefited drastically. Whoever thought at the studio that putting low quality RPG elements in a game well known for its skill-based fighting clearly didn't do his or her research on why we like these Batman games in the first place. And for all the little rats that are gonna say, don't compare it to the Arkham games, that's not fair. How about you compare these nuts to your eyeball? Because whether your little pea brain can accept it or not, Gotham Knight does use a lot of elements from those Arkham games, but they are seemingly all watered down. Because if you didn't know that this was an Arkham game and just saw the gameplay, you would immediately assume that it was one. If this was a totally new game, then it would look different, wouldn't it? That's like saying you shouldn't compare this restaurant's dish to another because one uses spaghetti with their meatballs while the other one uses linguine. Yeah, I just made a food reference. Look, something that really pisses me off. I don't understand why developers keep insisting on adding level capping and health bars to enemies even though they're universally hated. Anyway, look, the co-op multiplayer involvement in this is truly a low IQ decision, because a game like this is meant to be experienced as an immersive single player. But no, those doofuses at Warner Brothers know more than us gamers. And it wasn't even that long ago when if I heard a game had co-op, it would sincerely intrigue me. But now the term means nothing because co-op for most titles seem to always imply monotonous live service loiter grind with a friend. And oh my god, you can smell the stench of live service from this massive This was 100% supposed to be a live service game like Avengers. The environments feel way too big for a single or two-player co-op. And the loot for crafting definitely gives it away. And can I say that the combat system seems to have been designed by people who don't play action games. Because having only one way to counter a specific enemy type is very, very bad. And a very amateur mistake that a child would shake their head at. The mark of a good combat system is one where you have multiple ways of dealing with your enemies. Coming back to Arkham Knight, for example, if you don't have the disarm and destroy ability to take out shield users, then you can use the aerial attack after hitting them with your cape. So regardless of how difficult the enemies are, you have different tools at your disposal to deal with them. Anyway, let's move on. I'll say this, I was shocked when they announced 30 frames a second for consoles, because Gotham Knights looks objectively worse than Arkham Knight, which came out 7 years ago and was made on Unreal 3, and yet this next gen hardware can't handle something as basic as 60 frames a second. Just fuck off. The fact that Gotham Knights cost $70 is exploitation at its finest. If you are indeed dumb enough to buy this regurgitated mess with no identity and authenticity at $70, then buy it because you are too stupid to keep your money. I managed to play it for free because of a friend, and I still feel ripped off. And on that bombshell, Mannix out.